Ferrari are finally catching up to the untouchable Red Bull, and Frédéric Vasseur just sent them an ominous warning. The SF24 isn't anywhere near its full potential. Here's how they're gaining on Formula One's dictators. Red Bull made a strong statement with their third 1-2 finish of the season at Suzuka, catching the attention of the paddock. Meanwhile, Ferrari team boss Fred Vasseur cautioned that they haven't fully tapped into the peak performance of the SF24 yet. Carlos Sainz capitalised on Max Verstappen's absence due to his Australia DNF, securing his and Ferrari's first victory of the F1 2024 season. But Verstappen bounced back at the next race in Japan, securing another win, while his Red Bull teammate Sergio Perez contributed to Red Bull's impressive record of 3 1-2 finishes in 4 races. Verstappen and Red Bull appear poised for more championship success, while Ferrari has established themselves as the second fastest team in the early stages of F1 2024. Vasseur has warned Red Bull that the full potential of the current spec SF24 has yet to be revealed. He told Channel 4, "For sure you have to improve the speed of the car, bring upgrades, but I think so far we did not extract the best from the car. We are still doing some mistakes during the weekend, and the first focus is to be able to get the best from what you have. Then we'll have time to improve the car." Ferrari driver Charles Leclerc has identified qualifying as an area where he needs to improve after climbing from P8 to P4 at Suzuka. Vasseur acknowledges that this improvement in qualifying performance is crucial for the entire team, especially as Ferrari aims to enhance their starting position starting from the upcoming Chinese Grand Prix. Reflecting on Ferrari's performance at the Japanese GP, where Sainz secured P3 and Leclerc P4, Vasseur noted the team's progress and the areas they are focusing on to continue their momentum. "I think we did a very solid Sunday. We had a very good recovery, we had a good strategy, a very good tyre management. The pace was there. If we have to change something on the weekend, it's more on Saturday. It will be the next target for China to have a much better quali." Since Formula One hasn't raced at the Shanghai International Circuit since 2019, Vasseur was prompted to consider how this might equalise competition, particularly given that the Chinese GP is the first sprint weekend of F1 2024. However, Vasseur also highlighted other factors impacting the race, such as the limited practice time with just 1 hour scheduled at the Chinese GP. Additionally, he emphasised the significance of how the cars will handle the newly resurfaced track, indicating that this interaction with the tarmac could be the key determinant of performance. "We all know perfectly well the track," said Vasseur. "The biggest question mark for me is the tarmac. This will be decisive. It's also quite cold, which will mean that we could have graining, and so that will be the key for the weekend. Also, the fact that we only have 1 session of free practice, you have to make the choice of which compound you want to test. It will be a difficult one, but it's the same for everybody. For a team like Ferrari, historically associated with high ambitions and grandeur, settling for second place has never been considered a success. Thus, being the leading contender behind Red Bull in 2024 isn't a reason for jubilation. However, it's essential to remember that monumental achievements take time. Rome wasn't constructed in a single day, and neither was Maranello. Despite Ferrari's rich history and considerable resources, they endured a challenging 2023 season, marking their 15th consecutive year without a world championship, matching an unfortunate record. 2024 seems to hold promise for Ferrari to break their championship drought. This highlights that Ferrari's challenges aren't solved by quick fixes or immediate answers, but rather through consistent, long-term progress. The fact that Ferrari has developed a car that is clearly the second fastest in Formula One speaks volumes about their potential to challenge Red Bull in the future. Let's delve into what they have improved and where they still need to make gains. When it comes to single lap speed, the Ferrari SF24 stands out as the second fastest car on average. For instance, during the Bahrain Grand Prix, Charles Leclerc posted the fastest lap of the weekend in Q2, although he couldn't replicate that performance to secure pole position. However, Ferrari has consistently been the top non-Red Bull team in qualifying, achieving this feat in 3 out of the 4 races held so far in the season. Despite McLaren's Lando Norris outpacing the Ferraris in qualifying at Suzuka, Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc managed to finish ahead of him during the race, employing distinct strategies. This accomplishment upheld Ferrari's flawless record of being the top non-Red Bull team in races throughout the year. Notably, this occurred at a circuit where Ferrari was decisively bested by McLaren just 6 months earlier, highlighting their progress and competitive edge in the current season. Max Verstappen's brake issues certainly played a role in Carlos Sainz's victory in Melbourne. However, even without that factor, Ferrari was confident in its ability to compete directly with Red Bull. Sainz's win in that race, along with 4 other podium finishes, has contributed to Ferrari's strong position as the clear second-place team in the Constructors' Championship, amassing a total of 120 points. Ferrari's current haul of 120 points marks their second highest tally at this stage of the season in the past decade, trailing by just 4 points compared to where they were at this point in 2022, when they were mounting a serious challenge to Red Bull, albeit briefly. This tally is even more impressive than the early stages of multiple unsuccessful title bids from drivers like Fernando Alonso and Sebastian Vettel. These results underscore Ferrari's upward trajectory and their successful addressing of fundamental weaknesses. They currently sit 21 points behind Red Bull in the constructors' standings, indicating their strong position and competitiveness in the championship. One of Ferrari's primary goals was to address the issue of their cars working the tyres too hard during races, a problem that had been evident since the beginning of the 2022 season. This imbalance often resulted in a significant difference between their impressive qualifying performances and their comparatively weaker race pace. The fact that Ferrari secured 19 pole positions over the last 2 seasons, but only managed to win 5 races, highlights a significant issue. Their races were often characterized by defensive driving due to what Carlos Sainz referred to as terrible tyre management. This weakness has been a focal point for improvement this year, showing Ferrari's commitment to addressing critical performance factors. While Ferrari may not yet match Red Bull's level of tyre management, they have made significant strides in this area. Charles Leclerc has noted that high-degradation tracks still present challenges for Ferrari. However, overall, Ferrari's improved tyre management represents a substantial advancement. This improvement allows Ferrari to be more aggressive in races, focusing on attacking rather than constantly defending. Additionally, their enhanced race pace provides them with greater strategic options and flexibility during races. "We've improved everywhere, and especially in the race pace," Sainz said. "It also allows us to have more strategic flexibility that last year we didn't have. It allows me to go forward in the races and instead of looking in my mirrors all the time to offset myself with strategy and then overtake people, which is something that last year wasn't on the cards at any point." Ferrari team boss Fred Vasseur recently stated that the team's tyre challenges are now well under control. This statement came after Charles Leclerc executed a one-stop strategy at Suzuka, including an impressive 25-lap stint on the mediums, marking the longest distance any driver went on the C2 tyre during the race. Carlos Sainz has also attributed much of his strong start to the 2024 season to Ferrari's improvements in tyre management. "People also might think I'm in a better moment driving better and everything, but the reality is just in Formula One, a car is very important. This year I'm in a very good moment, I'm driving at a high level, but at the same time having a car that just allows you to go a bit longer, allows you to be a bit closer in dirty air and play around a bit more with strategy, just allows you to shine a bit more. That's why it's important in the career of a driver also to be in a good car, because last year in the races we looked like we were always going backwards, always defending. It was difficult to do good races. This year, suddenly 3 races, 2 podiums, a lot of overtaking, a win. It's a completely different picture. It shows that in this sport that is very important too. Ferrari acknowledges that there's significant ground to cover before becoming a consistent threat to Red Bull. However, there are positive indicators suggesting they can compete with and even defeat Red Bull head-on this year, as evidenced by their performance in Melbourne. Carlos Sainz is optimistic, noting that there are specific tracks where Ferrari can challenge at the front of the pack. Up to this point, Ferrari's upgrades have been relatively minor. They introduced winglets to the rear wing pylon in Australia and a reprofiled aerodynamic fairing for the rear suspension top wishbone leg in Japan. Additionally, they've made circuit-specific adjustments to optimize the car's aerodynamics for different track demands. However, the first major upgrade is anticipated at Imola next month, which is expected to include a new floor among other enhancements. I think Red Bull, are definitely going to have an advantage in the first third of the season until we bring 1 or 2 upgrades that makes us fight them more consistently, but by that time maybe it's a bit too late with the advantage that they might have on the championship, Sainz admitted. Ferrari has not publicly abandoned the hope of contending for the championship this year, unlike Mercedes. However, the primary focus for Ferrari this season is to make significant progress compared to Red Bull. This strategy aims to position them as a genuine contender for race victories next year, especially with the arrival of Lewis Hamilton to partner with Charles Leclerc. The goal is to build a strong foundation that sets them up for a title challenge in the near future. Vasseur emphasizes the value of continuous improvement across all aspects of Ferrari's operations, and there's ample evidence that this strategy is producing positive outcomes. While there's a considerable gap to bridge before Ferrari can challenge Red Bull effectively, recent advancements indicate that they are heading in the right direction. This focused approach is crucial for transforming Ferrari from a team that has struggled to meet expectations over the past 15 years into a championship-winning force once again. With the addition of Lewis Hamilton next year, Will Ferrari finally bring Red Bull down, or will Max Verstappen and the rest of the team find their second wind with the 2026 regulations? Tell us what you think in the comment section down below. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Thanks for watching.